In today's Friday finance meeting, I brought up a topic, which is tax planning. I was working with a client who's having a very profitable year. And what comes with profitable years is higher taxable income, right? More taxes. And so one of the strategies that real estate companies use is to buy additional real estate to hold, like commercial properties or rental properties, because you can take a piece of that purchase as accelerated depreciation to offset taxable income. That money that you would have used for taxes, you can roll into additional purchases of real estate in the following year. And so this is where we talk more about operations that we do about finance. And this is the piece about marrying finance with operations and the reality of things. And what we talked about in this conversation is that in order to purchase additional assets, it requires cash. There is a limitation and a balance between making asset purchases to reduce taxable income and also managing your operating cash. And one of the things that came out of this meeting is that, yeah, we could make a purchase to completely eliminate taxable income, but it would also use up all of your cash. And so there's a constraint there of how much we can borrow versus how much of our own cash is going to be used. We worked through the calculation to try to understand how cash is a big piece of the transaction and the planning around this. The other thing we talked about is the operational piece of this. I don't just work through the tax calculations, but I had to work with this client on how long it would take for the transaction to take place and really what are the activities that need to happen to start closing on the transaction, right? It really became more of an operational discussion after we got past the numbers and the cash into how long it would take to close on the transaction and what the timeline is. That's really how in a weekly finance meeting, we take the operational piece and the finance piece to really push this forward. And what we'll be doing on an ongoing basis is checking in on how things are going. I don't just give the advice, but I provide the accountability to make sure that we close the transaction on time and that we're actually accomplishing what we set out to do with this client.